Hi, welcome to the Full Earth Workshop. My name is Doug and you came just in time. You know, the Tiger 1 tank still remains one of the favorites of modelers and armor enthusiasts all over the world. We're finishing up a 1/16th build of a metal RC tank, and it's great to have you here. Well, you came on a good day. We're trying to adapt this rat's nest. This is Heng Long wiring, and we're trying to convert it over and see if we can use it with Clark electronics inside a Motto metal hull with Tigan parts. We'll see if it works out today. Let's get started. All right, here we go again. This is episode number lucky 13 of our all-metal Tiger 1 tank featuring parts from Heng Long RC Tank Legion Shop, Motto, Clark, and IMEX Tigan tanks. Okay, do you remember where we left off last time? We kit bashed these different Tamiya characters. We put the same face on both, but as you see, they have a personality all their own. Here's what it looks like now that we have filled in a lot of the joints and so forth. Still need to do a bit of sanding. You see there's still some flash there, but overall, these guys are just about ready for duty. Well, as you see, another Angel arrived from Amazon. Actually, I bought this on eBay. It seems like the only place where this stuff is available is Japan, and I waited quite a while for this Sarah grease from Tamiya. This tends to be the highest rated lubricant for metal gearboxes and tanks. So that's what we're going to try to use here. It has been pre-greased at the factory, but I want to put a little bit more in here just to make sure that we're going to be safe when we run it. There are about 5 different trains of gears if you're looking at it from a parallel. Yeah, I'm just going to try to put one in each parallel and hope that the grease then goes down through the teeth and thoroughly greases up this little monster. This is a Motto all metal transmission and has a really terrific sound to it. Here's something I've discovered. While looking on eBay, I was able to find this particular charger on sale for around $45. Well, I was able to find it in my local hobby shop for just about the same price. Just looking at the housing that it's in, it seems to be sold in several different brands. This particular one is in the Dynamite brand. It's called the Passport P1 Mini AC Balance Charger. It's kind of nice that it's real small. It does have a cooling fan on it, and overall it's got a pretty workmanlike interface that will charge many different kinds of batteries. One thing I really do like about this particular charger is it has an AC cord that plugs in directly, and it doesn't have one of those annoying and ugly wall warts. So that's a big plus. One thing the battery pack has with it, dreaded Tamiya battery connectors. They're known to be loose and just not very tight fitting, and they're pretty aged. There are several different things that you can buy for connectors that are all pretty good. The ones I chose were Dean connectors, and that's what we're putting on this battery. Another positive to buying from a local hobby shop, you can swap out the cables. So mine have Dean's connector cables on them. One thing I really like to have around my workbench is heat shrinkable tubing. Not because it's just helpful, but because it's really fun. It's kind of like having a big roll of bubble wrap around. It's fun to just bring out a match and watch the stuff shrink down into place. The stuff is very durable too, and that's one of the things you need with these Dean connectors. Because they don't really have a sleeve that comes with it to make sure these things are fixed. Now that I look at it, I probably should have made the red shrinkable tubing just a little bit longer, but I will do better on the other cable, believe me. Next up, we're moving to the upper hull, and we're going to make a nice cable, a twisted cable including 3 different elements, because we're going to bring them all into a central location once we get up into the turret. All 3 of these elements are lit. One is a machine gun, and then on the right and left sides are the headlights, which, remember, we still have masks, so when we pull off the tape after we paint it, we're still going to be able to see that light shine. We start off by straightening out one pair of wires, a white and black, and this one goes to one of the headlights. You put it into the chuck of your drill, pull it tightly, and then you can see, working very slowly, you get a beautiful twist in your wire. Now imagine how long this would take to do just manually without your drill. It does a really nice job. Now, it was so fun to see. We're going to do it one more time. and we twist it up, and this is for the machine gun. We do the same thing with the third, and they are wound beautifully together. If you remember a while back, I was considering putting just a standard servo in this place that's very high quality. Instead, I've just decided to use the Heng Long unit because, well, strangely enough, there are some bosses here that actually fit that servo. So let's take that shortcut. So you can see that we're going to have quite a wire bundle that goes up into the turret. I don't believe I'm going to make this a 360 turret. I want to try it out first with a limited turret because I want to make sure that I don't over twist that wire. You know, you really have to give kudos to Heng Long. I took apart my son's old RC tank that was made probably 8 to 10 years ago. And then as I was taking apart the Tiger tank to come up with some of the parts for this one, this is a much more recent one from the last year, they have really upped their game with their internal electronics. They used to just have bare circuit boards, something like a radio or a toy would have. But they have really come around. They really look like they're hobby grade at this point. We're going to need a way to mount the little circuit board from Heng Long. This is the terminal circuit board that holds the wire bundle coming up into the turret. What I've used is a couple pieces of styrene that are laminated together, and now I'm drilling some holes so it will fit into the original bosses that are inside the turret. By the way, thank you, Motto, for giving me some bosses. They may not fit, but at least I can use them. If you notice, I have countersunk the little screw holes here. I want them to tighten up and be below the surface so there's less of a chance of it shorting out this circuit board. I'm going to have to put it in kind of at a diagonal, but that's just fine. It appears to me that when Heng Long did some upgrading to their model line, they have not really fixed this circuit board because it has a socket and they are not making any attachments to the socket. Instead, what they're doing is they're taking some wires and just soldering them to the bottom of the board, which is kind of cheesy, so let's fix that right now. I finally decided to replace my soldering iron. I wondered why the new solders tend to really erode the tips of the soldering irons. Well, I looked it up, and the reason that happens is because they have gone lead-free with their solder. The solders used to be tin and lead, and they've gotten rid of the lead portion. Something about that burns through the tips much quicker. I was able to buy this one for $3, but soldering irons are actually getting kind of hard to find nowadays because hobbyists just aren't doing as much self-wiring and scratch building anymore. These tiny little wires are kind of fidgety. Got to be careful with them. There's only about 3 or 4 different strands in here, so you have to make sure that you don't use wire strippers with them. Just use a number 11 X-Acto blade, scrape off one side, and then just pull off that extra insulation. Just to keep myself straight, I am taking one of these servo connectors. I just picked up a set of these things to help me out. And I'm going to modify this servo connector. It's a little bit thinner than everything else, but the pins should line up. I'm taking all of those nice little winds that I brought from down in the lower part, and I'm bringing them up into the turret. And you can see as I take this little piece of styrene, it fits pretty tightly. Hey, we should be proud of ourselves. It looks like this part is really turning out A-okay. Now, before we mount all of this up into the turret, we've got a few little preparatory things we got to do. I found some self-tapping screws, and what we're going to do is drill a hole in this little mounting section. We'll do that the next episode. Let's take a look now at the smokers. As you see on the left, that is an old Heng Long unit, and on the right side you see a newer V2 unit from Tigan. And we're going to take that harness off of the old Heng Long unit and put it on the Tigan, and as we see, it is now plug compatible with the TK board. Oh, I love it when a program comes together. Man, did you ever notice when you're working hard with your head down, you look at the time and you go, man, where did the time go? That's where we are now, and we're going to continue our work with episode 14.